In this video, we're going to learn how to print the even numbers in an array using C. So the first thing we'll do is declare an int type array called array, which will initialize with the numbers 2, 5, 8, 7, 11, 17, 20, 5, and 4. So in this array, we have the even numbers 2, 8, 20, and 4. And what we want to do is print out only these even numbers. Now, an even number is an integer which is divisible by 2. What that means is if we take the even number and divide it by 2, we'll get a remainder of 0. So for example, 8 divided by 2 gives us 4, remainder 0. Because 2 times 4 gives us 8, and we have a remainder of 0. So this remainder of 0 after dividing 8 by 2 tells us that 8 is an even number. But if we check an odd number like 9 divided by 2 will give us 4, remainder 1. We don't have a remainder of 0 because 9 is not an even number. It's an odd number. Now to check if a number is even, we can just divide the number by 2, and if we get a remainder of 0, that tells us the number is even. Now in C, there's an operation called modulus, and the modulus operation is going to return the remainder of a division operation. So for example, 8%2, where percent is the modulus operation, is going to give us the remainder of 8 divided by 2, which is going to be 0. Whereas 9 modulus 2 is going to give us 1, because 1 is the remainder of 9 divided by 2. Now to print out only the even numbers in this array, what we'll do is examine each number in this array, and we'll divide that number by 2, and we'll see if we get a remainder of 0. If we do, that tells us we have an even number. Now to examine each number in this array, what we'll do is remember that each element in an array is stored at an index. So for example, 2 here is stored at the index 0, 5 is stored at the index 1, and so on for the rest of the elements in this array. Now this array has a length of 9. Because this array has 9 elements total, we'll store that length into an int type variable called length with int length is equal to 9. Then to examine each number in this array, we'll create a loop with a counter variable I, and that counter variable I is going to go through each index in the array from 0 to 1 to 2 all the way to 8. So I is going to begin here at the first index in the array. We'll have here 4 int I is equal to 0. So in the first loop iteration, we're going to check this number here to see if it's even. Then in the next loop iteration, we'll check this number here to see if it's even. So what we'll do is increment I by 1 with each loop iteration. So I is going to go through each index in the array. Now we want to stop this once I is no longer less than length, because when that's true, that will tell us that we've gone past the end of the array. So for the condition, we'll have here I is less than length. And so long as I is still less than length, we're going to continue this loop. Then in the loop body, we'll check to see if the element in the array at the index I is an even number or not. So we'll have here, if the element in the array at the index I, when divided by 2, has a remainder of 0, that tells us we have an even number. And only in this case are we going to print the number out. So we'll have here printf, and we'll pass it a string with %d to output an int value followed by \n for a new line. So we're going to output each even number on a new line, and we'll output the number in the array at the index I, which we've just determined is an even number. Now, if we save, compile, and run the program, we'll get the even numbers in our array as output, 2, 8, 20, and 4. So again, this for loop body is going to run for each index in the array as I goes from 0 to 1 to 2 all the way up to 8. And each time we're checking to see if the number at the index I is an even number. And only if it is, do we output that number. Now, one more thing we could do is put this logic inside a function so we could call the function in different places in our program. So let's do that. We'll give the function a void return type because the function is not going to actually return any value. It's just going to output the even numbers in the array it's passed as an argument. We'll call the function print_even. The function will be passed the array and the length of the array as arguments. So we'll have the parameters int array and int length. Then if we copy this and provide a definition of the function down here, what we can do is just cut and paste our logic into the function body. So we'll take this here and we'll cut it and we'll paste it into the function body. And that's really it. Because the function's parameter names match the variable names that we were using previously, we don't actually have to modify anything. This code is going to work as it is. So up here, we'll call print even, and we'll pass it our array and the length of the array. And if we save, compile, and run the program, we'll again get the even numbers in our array. So this is how we can print out the even numbers in an array using C. Check out portfoliocourses.com, where we'll help you build a portfolio that will impress employers, including courses to help you develop C programming projects.